After a series of close calls and near deaths, the Council of Gods, specifically Garo Glittergold, are nervous in their battle against the death god Falazure.
That wasn't good. My champion nearly died. I don't have any followers near enough to give backup if Tix is killed. This is not good at all.
Hey, small god, what are you going on about?
In case you haven't been paying attention, Bane nearly killed all our champions and made its way into the mortal realms. I don't have another cleric or paladin handy. Do you?
Boy, have I got just the orc for you. My boy Gronk is single-mindedly focused.
Well, is he a healer? Will he work good with the team?
Well, if they survive the battle, he'll be happy to heal them.
Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 156, Hidden Horrors. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and irascible Dungeon Master, Michael Corley. And with me tonight is Dare. Dare, you will not be playing Tix tonight, will you?
I will not be playing Tix. I will be playing a brand new cleric of Grumpsh. Gronk of Grumpsh.
We're going to be finding more about this character in just a moment. But I want my listeners to go with me across the sand swallow seas to the giant port city of Masgate. Now, when exactly this is taking place, I'm not telling, because that might give some things away. But we open with a certain half-orc. And you've walked past the fairly well-kept Grundle's Inn. You can see a bard outside with dark glasses playing a tune as you pass by Fugly the bard. And you keep going and going deeper into Masgate, into the seedier part of the town, a part of the town known as the Dregs. You've been hearing rumors coming from the Dregs, and that's when you see an inn called the Eagle and the Drake. What would you like to do?
I will look around and gather what information I can from my surroundings and use my spot check and check for any people that I'm looking for.
Okay. So, I would like you to make that roll, please.
Okay. That is a 12.
12. Okay. With the 12, you can see there are several shady characters nearby, and you make your way inside, but you don't see anything particularly interesting outside at the moment. The second you open the door to the inn, though, you are hit with a just overwhelming stench of human beings. As a half-orc, humans have a very particular spell, and when they haven't been washing, it's not great. So you are just smashed in the face with it. You know that something is going on in the Dregs. Something that is directly, possibly related to slavers. A very jowly barkeep looks up at you and nods once and goes back to wiping an improbably dirty glass as a really forlorn piano player tinkles in the distance.
So I will sidle on up to the bar and lay down a stack of 5 silver pieces.
Okay. You reach into your pocket. You have been pickpocketed. Now, all of your gold and belongings are not gone, but you are missing half of your personal treasure, what you had on your person. You have been pickpocketed, and you have been pickpocketed very recently.
And so I will look around and do a spot check again.
Okay.
And that's a 21.
A 21. So you definitely were caught unawares. Maybe you were focused on the person in front of you when you were looking outside, but you did not see who pickpocketed you. But what you do see is a full-cheeked man with greasy chest hair poking out of his tunic. He is sucking his fingers and gesturing wildly with a turkey leg, and he has a small pile of silver in front of him as he is ordering for himself and his friends. And the little pouch that he's ordering from with that silver looks really familiar to you.
Okay. I will walk over to him and smile in my most horrible smile, which with my 9 charisma is quite ugly.
At this point, I would like you to describe, rename and describe your character to the listeners.
So this is a war-weary cleric who is a half-orc who does not know where he has come from, and he doesn't even know his original name. He was captured by slavers when he was just 3, and his tribe was torn apart and demolished. And so he goes by Gronk of Grumpsh, which means lost soul or without a tribe. And he is 6.5 feet tall and heavily muscled, armored, and carries 2 spears. He is average intelligence, but he is quite ugly and looks more orc than half orc. And so he does not know where his family is from, but he is on a mission from Grumpsh and St. Cuthbert to get revenge.
Very, very good. Very good. And so the party, the viewers can visually see that. Our listeners can visually see that as you walk forward towards this exceedingly greasy individual who is ordering drinks, apparently with your silver, and chowing down on a turkey leg.
And so Gronk will reach out and gently take the money pouch back and say, "You shouldn't take things that don't belong to you."
And he pounds his fist on the table, and several of his friends look up darkly, and he goes, "Sir, you are stealing from me. I hereby brand you a thief." And several of his friends stand up. And he, even though he is like very slovenly, he actually speaks a little more eloquently than you would have expected.
And Gronk immediately pulls out his spear and says, "In the name of St. Cuthbert, I will send you to the hells, and I will remove the heads of your friends.
Okay, I
Do
want
not
you to make
cross me."
I want you to make an intimidation check with advantage, because you're backing it up both with your hideous visage and with a spear.
Okay. One is a 16, and the other is a 19.
19. Okay. And your spear tip just comes a little bit closer, and there's a moment where you think he's going to call out for his friends to attack, and then he recoils and says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! I think there's been some kind of mistake. I found this pouch just outside and was taking it as was my due, but as it is clearly yours," and he puts his hand, gesturing back to his friends, and they all kind of sit back down. He goes, "Let me return it to you, and no harm, no foul."
You can make it right by providing me with information.
Information is very valuable.
Apparently your life isn't.
And he immediately backs down again, and he goes, how can I help you?
Have heard that there are some slaves for sale here.
Oh, well, I would not know anything about slaves. That's no. I don't have anything to do with that.
You are forfeiting your life with no information?
Oh, no, you misunderstand me. I mean that I would never deal with, because as you know, slavery is outlawed in Hyboria. And so I would never have anything to do with slavers or anything like that. He almost sounds like a lawyer.
I said I wanted information about slaves.
And at this moment, a voice goes, behind you.
And Gronk will take 2 steps back and slowly turn, keeping his eyes on everybody, and placing the butt of the spear against the man's belly and to hold him in place while he turns around.
And the man protests and yelps, but he does not move. You turn around, and standing before you, and you have seen a lot. As you said, you are battle-weary. You have traveled the world. You've seen a lot. But you've never seen this before. This is an individual. Now, I want you dare to imagine a English explorer, in the 1890s with the khaki jacket and the pith helmet with the little point on the top, even a Sherlock Holmes style pipe in his mouth. Except he's a lizard-born, a lizard folk. And he takes a couple of puffs from his pipe and he adjusts his monocle and he says, "Talliest of hose, good sir."
And I suppose you have information for me.
Indeed I do. In fact, I think we may even be able to help one another out, for I am searching for the source of this scoundrelry, and I heard your words, impassioned they were, to find these slavers and put an end to them.
I didn't say anything about putting an end to them. What made you assume that?
And he reaches down and he adjusts. You could see the end of it sticking out of under his jacket, but he has a scimitar, and as he adjusts the scimitar, it actually flickers red with flame. And he says, "That is how I deal with slavers."
What information do you have?
I shall tell you all that I know. Won't you join me for a drink, and we can discuss the entirety here in comfort?
And Gronk looks around and meets the gaze of the fat thief and his compatriots, and then casually leans into the spear and pushes the man over backwards, and then follows the lizard folk to his table.
Okay. And he does have a table already, his drink is already sitting there. And he leads you back over to the table, gestures for you to sit down, orders and says, whatever you should like, sir, I would be happy to. Please tell me, what is your name?
I have no name. I am Gronk of Grumsh.
Oh, I see what you did there. I had a lost one and such forth, is it not?
Yes.
I am something of a scholar myself. My name is Captain Osiris Telluride Armbinder Darwilly the Fourth, Esquire.
Wow, that is quite a name.
Indeed, indubitably, I would not expect you to rattle that off, especially in the heat of the moment in combat or such. You may simply call me Capo. That's what all my friends and chaps do.
Capo.
Yes, Capo. Do you have any type of knowledge or anything like that, type of skills? Like history, anything like that?
Just knowledge, religion.
Okay, no, it would not apply to this, nor would you have gotten a whole lot of information. So yeah. It's fine. But as he sits down, Capo begins to tell you that he's actually very upfront with you, that while he opposes evil in all its forms, he is a scholar, an archaeologist, an anthropologist, and he gestures to a few of his like armbands and stuff that are made from gold and are clearly magical in nature. He goes, I am something of a treasure hunter, you might say. Adventurer, if that suits you better. So I came to town in search of a certain item, but I found it wrapped up in these tales of slavers and such, and it was my task to take them down and, again, being honest, also obtain this particular item. So, what I suggest is I will give you all the information I know, and then you and I can destroy this group, as you might say. The only thing that I ask is you may keep any treasure you want, but if we do find the item I am looking for, that you allow me to keep it.
That's fine. I have no want for material possessions like that.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. Well, in the last few months, as you know, Masgate is a very prosperous shipping town, but this area used to be more fishing in nature. And as the Sand Swallow Sea became more and more profitable for trading and shipping and sending goods over to Beltrain and also up to Zental Keep and beyond the Pinta Plains, well, fishing just wasn't quite as profitable, if you understand.
Right.
And so this area here began to fall into disrepair and is now known as the Dregs. There have been dozens of disappearances in the last few weeks. Word is that those who disappear are being put into some sort of mine or some sort of manual labor towards some devious goal. Now, I do not have all of the details, but this is what I know precisely. People began disappearing about 2 months ago. Those missing have left without a trace. In more than one case, it appears they just walked away from what they were doing. Meals half-eaten, tasks half-done. And there is talk of demons, creatures with red eyes lurking in the corner. And none of those missing have ever actually returned, but there have been word overheard of some kind of work being done. And I, among others, have actually been retained to investigate and see if we can find a resolution. This is actually something you're familiar with, Gronk, is he's being hired as an adventurer.
Right.
This is a bounty that he's
Okay.
been set to. So is what he's doing his big fancy way of doing. And there is a constable in town, and if we are able to satisfy him that we have succeeded, we will also be paid a bounty. So, that's nice.
That sounds good.
So,
Then I am interested in getting rid of these slavers, absolutely. And anybody associated with them will also feel the spear tip of Grumpsh and the revenge of St. Cuthbert.
I like the way you talk. You speak with true passion. Now, just so you know, the reward is 250 platinum pieces to anyone who is able, and I am more than happy to split that with you, or, if we do obtain my item, you are welcome to keep it in its entirety.
That sounds good. That will
Good,
suit
good,
me
good, good.
quite well.
Now, what I do know is that the poorest areas are the ones that have been affected the most. The eastern area of the docks, that sort of area where the dock workers are returning home at night, where they simply disappear, or from places where they would take refuge to eat a small meal, that sort of thing.
Right.
So I know the area, and there's a young woman down that way who saw something, I believe. She sells fish pies, and that is where I know that some of these disappearances have occurred.
Then let's make our way there if you're sure that nobody else here has more information.
I do not think so. Of course, anything is possible, but I do not think these ragamuffins have any more information than than simply how much they can take from your purse.
Gronk pats on his money pouch inside, putting it back inside his vest, and glares over at the thief's table and says, "Let's be on our way."
Talliest of hoes, he says, as y'all make your way out into the dark. As you make your way to the dredges, a low, clinging fog winds its way in tendril-like paths through the cramped streets of the dredges. Capo leads you through cobblestone streets of the city, of the eastern Massgate, down a few less traveled alleyways as rats scamper and scurry beneath your feet. "Mind these little savages," he mutters. "City's crawling with them." After a brisk walk through the set of slim passages, you find at sea level on a residential street, the houses are stacked against one each other. And he says, "This, my good friend, is the dredges. It used to be quite picturesque, I've been told, but with the tide rolling out now, all it is stinking fish. Well, this way. And I would like you to make a spot check."
Okay. Being naturally cautious and looking around, so Gronk gets a 16.
16. All right. So with the 16, you can tell that, first of all, like, it's really gross down here. There's debris everywhere. There's mud everywhere. It's very, very muddy and gross. There are lots of rats scurrying about. Some of the houses are vacant. A few do appear to be well cared for and maintained. And each home has a second floor balcony overlooking the street. And the streets are relatively free of people. And he Capo says that he believes that this is because people are literally afraid for their life now because these disappearances have been going on for 2 months. And he walks up to a house, and you see a tall, narrow structure that lies before you, a fresh coat of ivory paint on the exterior. A stout wooden door is half open, and an entry and sitting area are immediately visible, with a small kitchen and dining area towards the back. A set of stairs leading to the second floor is straight ahead of the doorway on the home's right-hand side. And I would give me just one more spot check, please.
Okay. And that is 12.
12. Okay. So this is a house where someone has gone missing, is what he tells you. You don't really see a whole lot with the 12 roll. You see that there's no one here, obviously. But exactly what happened here, you cannot tell. Is there anywhere that you'd like to look? Is there anything you'd like to do?
He'll check around the outside for tracks. And
Okay.
he has the tracking feet, so he will use survival to see if he can track where people have most recently left off to.
I like this. Give me that roll.
Okay, so that is a nice 26.
Okay, so like I said, this place is covered in debris. It is muddy. And that also means that there is a possibility of finding a trail. You have more experience out in the wild. However, you do have some urban experience tracking. And using your logic, if someone was taken from here, what would it look like? And as you stop for a second and stop just looking at how everything is debris, you start to see little tracks here and there where it looks like maybe someone was dragged. That's what catches your attention. And it is going south down the road from here.
Okay. So
good job. Good job.
Points out to Capo and says, "Here are the tracks. This is where our quarry lays."
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to do as you're starting to make your way down?
He will pull out his short spear and get ready to get prepared as he tracks. He is on the hunt.
Okay. With your short spear at the ready. What type of armor does Gronk wear?
He wears a full chest plate.
He is not messing around.
No.
So you make your way down to the south. You see these tracks going down the south. You come upon a 2-story house, which again is not unusual for this area. And at the house, you can see a sturdy oak door that secures the front of the property. So not the door of the house itself, but an actual gate, structure. There's a small picket fence in the alleyway next to the structure that shields the backyard from view. And that's when you hear a scream coming from inside the house.
And Gronk will look at Capo and nod at him, then cast on himself Feat of Strength, which he gets from the god St. Cuthbert, and gives him a bonus to his strength once per day, equal to his level. So now his strength is 28, so he takes a run at that front gate and hits it with all his might.
Give me a strength check.
And that is a 23.
So with you vastly exceeding, it wasn't 18 actually, so it wasn't nothing. But with you vastly exceeding this, I want you to describe to me how this sturdy oak gate that is blocking your access, what happens when you charge it with your half-orc form?
So he charges, and he has these shoulder, what do you call them? Shoulder pallions?
Pauldrons, I think, or pallions,
thank you.
Yeah.
And on one shoulder, he has the symbol of St. Cuthbert, and on the other, he has the symbol of Grumsh. And so he lowers his shoulder with the St. Cuthbert on it and just bowls into the door with his shoulder and the spear wrapped in his arms and bursts through it like a bull in going through a toreador's red cloak. Just nothing stopping him.
Yeah, and just the door is just reduced to flinders, which is one of my favorite all-time words. As you just burst through it, and you think for a moment, maybe it's just your imagination, that your pauldron actually glows for a moment, as if your god is going, yes, I like this. This is good. And there is a door to the house. However, it is just a normal door.
Is there anybody in the courtyard?
You do not see anyone in the courtyard. You just see rats scurrying out of the way as you bowl through towards the house.
He continues on and bowls his way through that front door.
Okay. You smash through the front door. I mean, you don't literally smash through it. You throw the door open. And as you come inside, despite the grime on the outside, the house is well cared for inside. And the layout is similar to the home that you were just in and investigating. There's a small sitting area combined with a dining area and a kitchen on the first floor with stairs leading upward. Beneath a trophy fish mounted on the wall, you see a slumped figure on the kitchen table. Blood is pouring out of gaping wounds in its torso, its entrails spilling onto the otherwise spotless wooden floor. But screams can be heard coming from the floor above.
And taking that in, he looks to see if Capo is still with him.
He is coming behind you. He is certainly not barreling forward as fast as you, but he is coming forward, and he is drawing forth his scimitar, which is beginning to flicker again with flaming light.
And so Gronk runs upstairs towards where he thinks the screams are coming from.
Okay. You bolt your way upstairs. As you do, you feel your feet crunch down on a big, just swollen rat that was coming down the stairs that you didn't even see. And as you clear the stairs, you can see down the hallway 4 figures in cloaks, but just, not like they're like super trying to hide. It's just they're just wearing cloaks, dragging a woman, and they are starting to exit the window on the second floor. So, like, 2 of them are about half in and half out of the window. 2 of them are completely inside the hallway, and they are starting to drag the woman out the window.
All right. So he sees them down the hallway, and so he's going to rush in and grab the first one and inflict critical wounds on him with one hand, and that'll be his first attack, and his second attack he'll be stabbing the spear in the second one right there.
I love it. You do get a surprise attack on them, so this round, this isn't a round yet. So Go ahead and do that attack.
All right. First attack is a natural 20 for inflict critical wounds.
Nice.
So he grabs that guy by the back of the neck and inflicts 48 points of damage on the first guy of necrotic damage.
So I want you to describe to me what it looks like when you kill this cloaked figure with inflict critical wounds with your natural 20.
He comes running in, and he grabs the first one by the scruff of the neck like picking up a mangy cat, and just squeezes and prays to Grumsh for the inflict critical wounds. and the man's neck just dissolves in a necrotic, undead goo and disappears, and the head just slumps over. He doesn't even have a chance to react.
Beautiful. This does not require a spot check. You are literally grabbing this individual. Do you have low light vision? I believe you do as a half-orc,
yeah,
right?
half-orcs have dark vision.
Yes, I thought they did. He did. As you do exactly that, you realize that this individual is completely covered in matted hair. This is some kind of lycanthrope. And you can't... in this instant, you haven't quite locked onto it, but this is not a normal human.
Okay.
But even this creature, who is clearly, tougher than a normal human, that much damage does them in. It just... and they are destroyed. Now your second attack on the second one.
And shoving the spear through with a 17.
Mm-hmm.
And does that hit?
17 does hit, yes.
Okay. And so he hits for 15 points of damage.
So you stab... Or I'm sorry, you said short spear, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You stab into this creature, and you know the power of your thrust. You have killed men with a thrust like this, where you just, lift them up afterwards like a kebab. And you can tell this isn't doing as much damage as it should, as you do 5 points of damage to this creature, to this lycanthrope. And he turns and looks at you and goes, "Ah!" And there's no mistaking the rat-like face as he screams at you. And I would like you now to roll for initiative.
All right. Yes.
Sorry.
Rats. That's fun.
I'm traveling right now, so I don't have my regular dice, but I want y'all to know that even with my new fancy dice, it is not the dice. It is the DM, because I rolled a 1.
I rolled a 20.
And Capo also rolled a 20. What is your dexterity?
My dexterity is 14.
Okay, so he has a higher dexterity, so Capo will go first. Grunk will go, and then the were-rats will go. Leaping forward, he is going to stab at the same person as you, and as he does, you can see that his weapon flares to life and into a full flaming scimitar as he goes, "Talliest of Hoes!" And he gets, he rolls a natural 20. So you noticed before that the weapon didn't do as much damage when you attacked. His weapon does not seem to have that problem with its magical nature. It literally 45-degree angle, perfectly clean, like a lightsaber, just cuts through and cauterizes the creature that you hit. Now, normally, Capo will often do a bite attack as well, but he's not going to bite a lycanthrope.
That would probably be smart.
So he turns and does a second attack on one of the ones holding the woman as he does he has a very fencing-like way. And unfortunately, that time he rolls an 8. So even with his impressive bonuses, he does not hit on the second one. He's trying, you think, not to hit the woman. And so that will bring it to your turn. There are 2 left. They are both halfway out the window. And it is clear to you now that these are both were-rats as well.
Okay. So he will do similar attack. He drops his short spear and frees his long spear as a free action because he is a war cleric of Grumsh. Cast Inflict moderate wounds on he grabs the one trying to get out the window. Can he reach it? Has it already gone out the window, or is he?
No, they're halfway out. They're literally like have 1 foot out.
Okay, so same thing. He's going to reach and grab an arm or a leg of the one on the right and stab with his spear, which is, well, we'll get to that. So he's going to grab the one on the right first.
Okay.
And that is a 22.
That will hit.
And so he inflicts 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage. That is not enough to kill it, but it's like if you think about the chunky, meaty part of the thigh, like just dissolves under your attack as it screams and howls, and you can hear rats just tittering throughout the walls at its scream, and it half falls forward as its leg loses a lot of its ability. And for your second attack?
Second attack with the spear, that is a 25.
Okay, and just again to clarify, are you doing the same thing? You're attacking one and then the other?
Yeah.
Okay, just you want to make sure I had that right. Okay, yeah. Go right ahead. That will hit.
It will hit with his spear, his magic spear, which is +2. And so that will do full damage at 15 points of damage.
15 points of damage.
8 plus 7.
Okay. And that you just go right into his belly. Like literally your spear halfway disappears into his belly, and he screams and he falls forward and hot blood sprays out at you. He is still up, but he is very badly injured. You are actually, you know from combat that only the fact that this is a were-rat is the only reason it is still alive.
Right.
That no human would have survived that. But that does bring it to their turn. And the one that is closest to you is the one who leg you have mostly removed. And it screams at you and says, "Join us!" And it is going to attempt to bite you. And it rolls an 11. With its bonuses, that is a 14. I bet that hits a full plate armor guy.
Not even close. It's not full plate armor, but it's a breastplate and pauldrons. So
Gotcha. So it does have a second attack, but that is not a bite. It is going to swipe at you with its... it actually pulls out a rapier and attacks. That one is an 18. Does that hit?
No, it does not.
And in this case, it literally just goes, and you know that rapiers are really good at stabs, but as it goes forward, your tough metal plate, it just turns, and you see the blade just bend sideways as it utterly fails to hit you. And the second one is going to also come after you because you have done devastating damage, and it is going to try again. This one gets a 19. Does a 19 hit?
No, it does not.
So its teeth just ta-ta-ta-ta-ta at you, but it cannot quite. You're able to backstep it as it comes forward, and it also pulls out its rapier and slashes forward, and it does even worse with a 15. Wow. Oh, goody DM. As it utterly fails. So these guys are just wailing at you, but they cannot hit, probably because they are mostly dead. But that will bring it to Capo's turn. And, he has a special... Oh, no, he did. The reason he didn't get to use his special ability last time is because he killed the one he attacked. So you see his flaming scimitar come forward, and he gets a 21. So that definitely hits. And DM needs to not roll 100. He needs to roll a 10. And the second attack is a natural 20. So you have badly damaged these two. They've stumbled forward. They are trying to bite you. You know that is how lycanthropy is spread. But as their teeth come forward, this just flaming scimitar comes forward and just lops off both of their heads, literally at the jaw, simultaneously. And then they splat onto the ground, and you see the eyes looking left and right for a few moments, and then they roll up into their head, and they are very, very dead. And the woman is starting to fall out the window. I need you to make a reflex, or if you want to roll athletics, I will also allow that if you have it.
We'll do reflex.
Okay, a reflex saving throw.
That is a nice 19.
19. So with deft movement, as he is, well done, good job, and then he's not paying attention to this lady falling. You reach forward and catch her by the apron strings at her back and yoink her back inside. And she is a mess. She is blubbering. She is freaking out. She is not making any sense whatsoever.
Okay. And of course, there's a lizard man and an ugly half-orc standing there.
Yes.
And so...
but it's okay. One of the ways that you can calm her down is by making a high charisma roll. So if you want to do that...
Sure, we can try that. That's a 2.
A 2, okay.
And with my -1, that's a 1.
So you literally, come forward and you're like, calm down! And she's just like, ah! She just starts freaking out even more. And you honestly don't know, do I take her downstairs where her, apparently dead spouse maybe is, or whoever that is? Or do I leave her up here amongst the dead were-rats? And just, she's a mess. She's an utter mess.
And so Gronk will take her by both shoulders and find a chair and gently but forcibly make her sit and pull out a water skin and give her some water to drink and step back for a moment and see if she starts to calm down, that we are not attacking her. And while she is calming down, he says, we're not here to attack you. We're here to protect the ward and purify the dregs. And so I'm going to check these for information about where they came from. Please remain still, breathe deeply, do not scream, and you will come to no harm by us. And so he goes about searching the were-rats.
Okay. I would like you to give me a spot check.
That is a 12.
12. Okay. So, first of all, you do find a total of 13 silver pieces and 24 gold pieces and a crooked dagger, in addition to their rapiers. But you do also find an iron key that was around one of their necks. It is heavily rusted, as if it spent a lot of time near salty water. The Sand Swallow Sea is a sea. It is a salt ocean. Coming up behind you, Capo looks down and does a little bit better than you. And he reaches under like a hidden kind of pouch. It's actually sewn into one of them cloaks. And he finds a religious symbol. And it is very strange looking. And I believe you said you do not have a religion check, right? Religion skill?
No.
Okay. However, I mentioned that Capo is a archaeologist and good at this sort of thing. And he rolls quite well, which is what he needed. He says that this is a holy symbol of Yargathal, who is an ancient scion of one of the old gods. And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 156. Thank you for playing, Dare.
Thank you for not killing me.
Not yet. This is where the fun gets started. Everybody, if you want a fun game like this, you can go to the Game Master's Book of Non-Player Characters, which I received for Christmas. And it had a few lovely little adventure modules. And I thought it would be so fun for this one shot to do one of them. This one was my favorite. So that's what we're working through now. But if anyone would like to see some of the artwork and such you're working on, where can they find you online, Dare?
You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Dare Imagine.
Wonderful. Check that out, and that'll be in the show notes. And when we return next time, we will see the stunning conclusion of Gronk of Grumsh. Thank you for playing.
Thank you much. Hope everybody's having a great day.
Absolutely. Everybody take care. And until then, we will roll with you soon.